At my desk, crunching numbers and mulling over stock performances, my phone buzzed. I almost didn't answer, but the name flashing stopped me. Lisa. Hey, long time. We're all meeting up tonight. The school gang. You gotta come, she blurted out, barely taking a breath. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the end call button. I dunno, Lisa. It's been ages, and work's been crazy. Come on. It'll be fun. Plus, everyone's dying to see you. We'll be at O'Malley's. Remember, where Nick puked on prom night? Her laughter was infectious, and despite myself, I laughed too. Fine, I'll be there. But I'm not staying late. The rest of the day dragged. I left the office, my mind a clutter of finance terms and curiosity about the old crew. I reached O'Malley's at 8 sharp, greeted by the familiar scents of stale beer and fried food. Inside, it was like stepping back 10 years. There was Tom, who used to rig the homecoming elections, laughing loudly at the bar. Sarah, the former cheer captain, now a yoga instructor, waved energetically from a booth. And there, in the corner, was Lisa, just as vibrant as her high school self, but with a few more lines around her eyes. Elsie! Over here! Lisa called out, cutting through the chatter and music. As I walked over, the years seemed to peel away. Hugs were exchanged, drinks were ordered, and soon, the evening was in full swing. The stories started flowing, each more embellished than the last. We recounted the senior trip fiasco, the prom disasters, and every ridiculous prank pulled by our class clown, Nick. It was during a lull in the conversation, while everyone was laughing about Mr. Benson's infamous biology pop quizzes, that I noticed him. Jason. He was off to the side, nursing a beer, looking nothing like the football star he once was. His eyes were tired, his smile forced. Curious, I nudged Lisa, nodding toward him. What's up with Jason? He seems off. Lisa's eyes sparkled with the promise of juicy news. Oh, girl, you haven't heard? It's a mess. He's just split from Mara. You remember her? Drama queen extraordinaire. They'd been on and off for years. This time, she went ballistic at a party, caused a scene, the whole shebang. Heard they're done for good now. Crossing the room, I could feel the shift in atmosphere, the laughter from our group dimming behind me. I reached Jason, who looked up, surprised. Hey, Jason. It's Elsie. From calculus? He smiled, a genuine one this time. Elsie. Wow, it's good to see you. How've you been? We've all been catching up. Sounds like you've had a rough time, I said, getting straight to the point. Jason's face fell slightly, the smile fading. Yeah, it's been complicated. Mara and we tried, but it was too much. Too much fighting. I nodded, unsure what to say. The silence stretched uncomfortably before he added, but hey, enough about my sob story. What about you? Still into numbers and all? I laughed, relieved to switch topics. Guilty as charged. I'm an investment analyst now. Lots of numbers, lots of coffee. We reminisced about old teachers and tougher exams, the conversation easing into comfortable territory. As the night wore on, and the crowd thinned, Jason and I found ourselves last to leave. Want to grab a coffee? For old time's sake? He asked as we stepped outside. I thought of my early meeting, the stack of files on my desk. Then I looked at his hopeful face. Sure, why not? The morning after the reunion, my head was buzzing, not from the drinks, but from the whirlwind of reconnecting with Jason. The coffee we had together wasn't just any old catch-up, it felt like something was reigniting, an old bond that wasn't fully explored back in our school days. When I got to work, there was a text waiting for me from Jason. Lunch today? My treat. I agreed, curious about where this sudden reconnection might lead. We met at a little diner halfway between my office and his, a place filled with the clatter of dishes and the smell of grilled cheese. The waitress came over, and we ordered. I noticed Jason kept glancing at me, like he had something on his mind. As soon as the waitress left, he leaned forward. Elsie, I'm gonna cut to the chase. I really enjoyed last night, and not just because you're easy to talk to. I feel comfortable with you, you know? It's refreshing, especially after all the drama with Mara. I stirred my coffee, choosing my words carefully. I get it, Jason. And I had a good time too. It's nice, catching up without any pressure. That's just it, he continued, his eyes earnest. I don't want this to just be catching up. I was thinking, maybe we could make this a regular thing? See where it goes? The directness of his proposal caught me a bit off guard, but it was also what I liked about him. Straight to the point. No messing around. Sure, I'm up for that. But let's take it slow, okay? See how things pan out. Jason nodded, relieved. Slow is good, no rush. From there, our lunches became a regular thing. We'd meet up, chat about everything from work to our favorite TV shows, and gradually, those meetings turned into dinners, movies, and long drives. It was easy, uncomplicated, and before long, I realized I was looking forward to seeing him more than I thought I would. A few months down the line, on a chilly evening walk through the park, Jason stopped mid-conversation. He looked nervous, which made me nervous too. Elsie, these past months have been amazing. You've brought a lot of peace into my life. I know this might seem fast, but I can't imagine not having you around, he said, taking a deep breath. I waited, my heart pounding, unsure of what was coming next. So, what do you say, will you marry me? The question hung in the air, and for a moment, I was speechless. Marry him? We hadn't even discussed moving in together, and here he was, jumping a dozen steps ahead. But looking into his hopeful eyes, I realized that with Jason, things didn't need to be complicated. Yes, Jason, I'll marry you. We told our families, and everyone was thrilled. His parents especially, they'd always liked me, even back in high school, and seeing their son settled with someone they trusted seemed to bring them immense joy. Our wedding was simple but beautiful. We didn't want anything extravagant, just close friends and family in a little church by the lake. Jason's mom kept wiping away tears, whispering how happy she was that he had found someone so steady and calm. Life after the wedding felt like we were living in a bubble. Everything was perfect, too perfect, maybe. We settled into our routines. I continued crunching numbers at the firm, and Jason dove back into his job in marketing. But as the weeks turned into months, I began to notice changes, small at first, then too big to ignore. One evening, I was setting the table for dinner, waiting for Jason to get home. He'd been working late a lot, and it was starting to bug me. When he finally walked in, I couldn't hold back. Another late night, huh? I said, trying to keep my voice light, but the annoyance was there, loud and clear. Jason dropped his keys on the table, his face tired. Yeah, the campaign's kicking my ass. You know how it is. I guess. It's just, you've been late every night this week. We barely see each other anymore. He sighed, pulling off his tie and collapsing into a chair. I know. It's just this one project, I promise. Things will slow down soon. But they didn't. It went from bad to worse. The late nights became more frequent, and our conversations grew shorter. I tried to shake off the growing dread that something was off. Then came the weekend when we were supposed to go see a movie, something we hadn't done in ages. I was looking forward to it, hoping it would be a nice break for both of us. But as we were about to leave, Jason looked uncomfortable. Actually, do you mind if we skip the movie? I'm really not in the mood for a crowd. I was taken aback, feeling a sting of rejection. Not in the mood? Since when do you hate going out? Jason ran a hand through his hair, looking frustrated. I don't know, Elsie. I just want a quiet night in, okay? Is that too much to ask? That night, we sat on opposite ends of the couch, the tension thick. The silence was broken only by the TV, which neither of us was watching. I felt a million miles away from him. Weeks passed with more of the same. Cold dinners, colder conversations. Then, one night, out of nowhere, Jason's mood swung back. He came home with flowers, a bottle of wine, and a big smile. "Let's have dinner out tonight, babe. Just like old times," he said, his energy almost too much. I was hesitant but didn't want to push him away when he was finally making an effort. "Sure, that sounds great." Dinner was nice, and for a moment, I thought maybe we were back on track. But the highs were just as quick as the lows, and soon, he was back to his distant self. One evening, trying to break through to him, I confronted him again. "Jason, what's going on? You swing from being loving to barely talking to me. Talk to me, please." Jason looked at me, and there was a weariness in his eyes I hadn't seen before. "I'm just tired, Elsie. Tired of the same old routine. We do the same things, talk about the same stuff. Can't we just shake things up?" His words felt like a slap. "So, what, I'm boring you now, is that it?" "I didn't say that," he retorted quickly, but the implication hung in the air, unsaid but clear. The conversation spiraled into a full-blown argument, voices raised, words that couldn't be taken back. "I don't know what you want from me, Jason. I'm trying here, but you're giving me nothing," I yelled, frustration boiling over. "And I don't know what you want me to say, Elsie. That everything's fine? Because it's not," he shot back. It was just after 7 when Jason walked through the door, unusually late again. This time, something was different. His face had a scratch, not deep, but noticeable enough to make me stare. "What happened to your face?" I asked as he tried to sneak past me to the bathroom. He avoided my eyes, splashing water on his face. "It was just some crazy lady on the road. She almost hit my car and then freaked out at a red light." "You got out of your car?" He sighed, grabbing a towel. "Yeah, I did. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay with the cars, but she went nuts, started yelling and swinging. I backed off, but she got me once." I leaned against the doorframe, skeptical. "Really? That sounds a bit much. Why didn't you call the police?" "Can we just drop it?" he snapped, more sharply than necessary. I stepped back, hurt by his tone. "Okay, fine. Just asking." The rest of the evening was tense. We ate dinner, mostly in silence. I couldn't stop thinking about the scratch, his story not quite adding up. My mind raced with doubts and what-ifs. A couple of days later, while Jason was at work, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I decided to do something about it. I found myself driving to the cafe where he often went for lunch, telling myself I was just in the neighborhood. I spotted him through the window, sitting across from a woman. I couldn't see her face, but the way he laughed and leaned in was too familiar. I felt a lump in my throat. I walked in, my heart pounding, and as I got closer, the woman turned. It wasn't anyone suspicious, just a coworker from his office. "Hey, babe. What a surprise," Jason said, his smile a bit too wide. "Elsie, this is Sarah from accounting. We were just going over some budget issues." "Nice to meet you," Sarah said, her smile polite but puzzled. "Hi," I managed, feeling foolish. "I was just nearby and thought I'd say hello." We chatted briefly, the whole time I felt like I was intruding. I left them to their budgets and walked out, my face hot with embarrassment and confusion. Why had I felt so compelled to check on him? What was I turning into? That night, I brought it up. "Jason, I saw you today with Sarah. You seemed close." Jason, who was scrolling through his phone, looked up, annoyed. "What is this, Elsie? You checking up on me now?" I just happened to be there. But it made me think, we don't talk much anymore. You don't laugh with me like that. He put his phone down, his face hardening. "What do you want me to say? That I can't have friends? That I can't laugh?" "It's not that," I said, struggling to keep my voice steady. "It's just that you seem happier with everyone else but me." Jason stood up, frustration evident. "This is crazy. I can't even have lunch without it turning into an interrogation." I wanted to believe him, to throw my arms around him and forget all about the doubts and the scratch and the secrets. But something held me back. The doubt had crept in, and it was sticking around, a constant whisper in my ear that something wasn't right. The day had started like any other, but fate had other plans. I was crossing the street after grabbing lunch, my mind on the afternoon's workload, when a car came out of nowhere. The impact knocked me off my feet, and the world went black. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed, a dull ache throbbing through my head and my arm in a sling. A nurse bustled in, checking my vitals and adjusting my dropper. "Good, you're awake. How are you feeling? Any nausea or dizziness?" she asked, her voice calm. "A bit dizzy, yeah. What happened?" My voice sounded far away, even to my own ears. "You were hit by a car, dear. You're lucky, just a minor concussion and some bruising. We're keeping you overnight for observation." As the reality sank in, panic fluttered in my chest. "My husband, can you call him? His name is Jason. He needs to know I'm here." She nodded and left to make the call. Moments later, she returned with a phone in her hand, a sympathetic look on her face. "I'm sorry, he didn't answer. I left a voicemail." "Thanks," I murmured, sinking back against the pillows. The room was spinning slightly, and I closed my eyes to steady myself. An hour later, my phone buzzed. It was Jason. I picked up immediately, relief flooding through me. "Jason, I'm in the hospital." "I know, I got the voicemail." "Look, Elsie, I can't come. I'm on a business trip, out of town. I won't be back for 2 weeks." His words hit me like a second collision. "What? You're gone? But our anniversary is in a few days." I know, it's bad timing, but I had to take this trip last minute. It's important." "Jason, I need you here," I said, my voice breaking from both pain and betrayal. "I'm sorry, Elsie. There's nothing I can do right now." The call ended abruptly, leaving me staring at the phone in disbelief. Tears welled up, not just from the physical pain, but from the sharp sting of his absence. The next morning, my mother-in-law, Judy, showed up with a small bag of my things. She was flustered, her usual composure shaken. "Oh, Elsie, dear, I came as soon as I heard. How are you holding up? Jason told me about his sudden business trip, such unfortunate timing." Her words, meant to comfort, only fueled my growing suspicions. "Judy, do you know where he went? What this trip is for?" She shook her head, her brow furrowing. "No, dear, he didn't say much, just that it was urgent. You know how his work can be." Something didn't add up. I thanked Judy and waited for her to leave before grabbing my phone. I dialed Jason's office, my heart pounding. "Hi, this is Elsie, Jason's wife. Could you please tell me where he is? I was told he's on a business trip." There was a pause on the line, then confusion. "Business trip? I'm sorry, but he's not on a business trip. He took personal leave. Said it was a family emergency." I hung up, the room spinning faster than before. Tears blurred my vision, not just from the pain but from the bitter taste of betrayal. Was there even a business trip, or was it all a lie? Lying in the hospital bed, the dull hum of the ward in the background, I picked up my phone. I dialed Lisa, who could always be counted on for the latest scoop. "Hey, Lisa, it's Elsie. Quick question, have you heard anything about Jason lately?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Lisa didn't hesitate. "Oh, Elsie, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Jason's been seen around with Mara again. It looks serious this time." Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. "Mara? Are you sure?" "Yeah, they've been hanging out a lot. Saw them myself just yesterday. It's definitely back on," she replied, her tone a mix of sympathy and the excitement of sharing gossip. The room seemed to spin a bit faster as I processed what she said. This explained the sudden coldness, the random late nights. He was back with Mara, the ex-girlfriend notorious for her dramatic flare-ups. I lay back, staring at the sterile white ceiling, piecing it all together. The mood swings, his disinterest, his accusations of me being dull, it all made sense now. He was drawn back to the chaos Mara brought into his life, a stark contrast to the stability I offered. I remembered his scratched face, the lame excuse about a road rage incident, and it clicked. That had been Mara's doing, undoubtedly, during one of their fiery arguments. The realization stung. Not just the betrayal, but the ease with which he slipped back into his old patterns, leaving me to deal with the fallout alone, especially when I was at my most vulnerable. I had just returned home from the hospital, still grappling with the whirlwind of betrayal and recovery, when my phone rang. The screen flashed an international number I didn't recognize. Curiosity overtook my caution, and I answered. "Hello? Elsie, it's me, Jason. I need your help." His voice came through, strained and desperate. "I'm in a bit of trouble. We're in Mexico. Mara and we had a fight, and it got out of hand. We're detained by the local police." "You've got to be kidding me, Jason. You disappear with her, and now you want my help?" My voice was sharp, my words clipped. "It's not like that, Elsie. I didn't plan for this. Please, we're stuck, and it's bad here. They're talking about serious charges." I paced the living room, my heart pounding, a mix of rage and a weird sense of duty battling within me. "And what do you expect me to do about it? We need money for a lawyer, maybe some to pay fines. I can't reach anyone else. My parents won't answer." The gall of him, thinking he could just call me up and I'd jump to help after everything. "You think after what you've done, I'm just going to open my wallet and bail you out? Elsie, please. I know I messed up, but this is serious. I'm scared. Goodbye, Jason." I hung up before he could say anything more. I decided to call his parents, not to get them to intervene, but to inform them of the situation. They needed to know, even if they chose not to act. "Mrs. Thompson, it's Elsie. I got a call from Jason. He's in trouble in Mexico." There was a pause, then a weary sigh. "Oh, Elsie, what has he gotten himself into now?" "He's detained, with Mara. He was asking for money, for help, but I can't. I thought you should know, though." "Thank you for telling us, dear. We'll handle it from here." A few days have passed, and the doorbell rang unexpectedly. There stood Jason, looking gaunt and visibly distressed. The sight of him stirred up a storm of emotions, but mostly, I just felt a detached curiosity. How had he ended up like this? I leaned against the doorframe, my arms folded. "What are you doing here, Jason?" He looked defiant. "I was in trouble, and you left me there. That hurt." I couldn't help but laugh, though there was no humor in it. "Left you? You mean after you ditched me while I was in the hospital for that woman? What did you expect?" He wanted to continue his accusations, but I cut him off. "Now, you want sympathy? No. I'm done. I'm filing for divorce, and I'll be seeking compensation for your infidelity. My lawyer's already on it." His face turned pale, the gravity of the situation finally dawning on him. "You can't mean that, Elsie." "Oh, but I do. Turns out, the police had quite the chat with your little vacation buddy. They were very helpful," I said, the coldness in my voice surprising even me. Jason looked defeated, his shoulders slumping. "I didn't want it to end like this." "Neither did I, but here we are." I straightened up, my decision firm. "Now, I suggest you leave before I call the police. We'll settle everything through the lawyers." He nodded slowly, the fight gone out of him, and turned to leave. As I watched him go, a part of me felt a pang of the life we had planned together, but that was quickly overshadowed by a stronger sense of relief and newfound freedom. Over the next few weeks, I worked closely with my lawyer. The divorce proceedings were smooth, given the overwhelming evidence of Jason's infidelity. The court granted me a substantial compensation, a small solace for the upheaval. News reached me that Jason was still with Mara, their relationship as turbulent as ever. They were constantly fighting, a chaotic spectacle for all to see. His life spiraled further as his parents cut ties, disappointed by his choices, and his work suffered greatly. I, on the other hand, focused on rebuilding. With the divorce finalized and the compensation secured, I moved into a new place, further away, starting fresh. I redecorated, creating a space that was all mine, free from the shadows of my old life with Jason,